Sometimes the very fears you're running away from are the gateway to your next breakthrough. We've all heard the saying, right? Fear kills more dreams than failure ever did. Ironically, the fear that kills most of these dreams is the fear of failure. There are so many times in our lives when opportunities come up, when chances come up, when a gateway to success opens for us, but rather than going straight for it, we hesitate. We sabotage, we wait, we prepare, we try to make sure we've got it right, all because we want to make sure that we don't get halfway through the gateway only to realize it was the wrong one, only to realize that we have failed. And it's quite interesting because a lot of times we'll not take a shot at our dream and fail 100%, then take a shot at it and have even 10 to 20% chances of success. It's bad maths, to be honest. But we don't just want to end the conversation there. I want to explore with you today why we fall for this bad maths. Why is it that our mind, which is sometimes so logical, can no longer see the logic when it comes to failure, and rather than embracing it, it becomes paranoid, fearful, and that too in an irrational way about it? It's quite an interesting question to answer, and the best part is, as we answer that question today, you're finally going to be able to let go of this big fear that's been holding you back, and you will be ready to take action on all your dreams, your goals, everything that is meant to be yours. I mean, we often focus so much on the things we need to do more to achieve success. But what if I told you a lot of times all you need is to come back to the basics, come back to the core and stop doing the things that are going wrong, and then the path to success opens up easily and effortlessly. Today in this video, I'm not going to give you new steps to do. In fact, I'm only going to tell you the one thing that you need to stop doing so that this fear completely disappears and you are living your best life. Let's get started. I'm super excited to dive into this with you. I want to take you back to the year 1976 with me when Martin Covington, a researcher and psychologist, published a groundbreaking idea that completely changed the way we approach success, failure, and motivation. In what is now termed as Covington's theory of self-worth, we understood what actually motivates people to succeed, what pulls them back into failure, and how they really take action in their lives. The ideas that he shared were so powerful, so novel, and so incredible that they completely changed the way we looked into why we take action, why we do certain things, why we are confident in certain pursuits but so damn fearful in others. And the idea boils down essentially to just this one powerful concept. We are not afraid of the failure itself. We are afraid of what the failure says about us. Now there's a very thin line between the two, and that's why this theory is called Martin Covington's self-worth theory. What he describes there is a powerful paradox that human beings often live through, and I'm sure you'll relate to it as well. Ever since we are born, it's like we all have entered this competition, this race to prove our worth as lovable, comfortable, safe, kind, amazing, successful human beings. Since we're in school, we are told, compete with everybody else and get the first rank. Ever since we get into sports, rather than focusing on the game of it and the love of it, we are told, be the winning team, be the one who wins the match. And so essentially what happens is, every time we achieve something, we get more love, we get more attention, we get more care. So our little minds, they learn a simple equation. If I want to feel worthy enough of being loved, attended to, and cared for, I need to achieve, and I need to succeed, and I need to get results. Now our parents or the people around us, well, they didn't do this consciously. They were just following the system and the world that was handed down to them. So we're not going to blame them or anybody else for this equation that stays inside our head. That's just the way we end up being wired. And so the problem that happens is we attach a sense of self-worth with the achievement and the results we get. And that is something we protect fiercely. That is something we guard with our lives, because we can bear anything. We can bear shock, we can bear fear, we can bear loss. But the one thing human beings just cannot bear is feeling that they are not worth it, feeling that they are incapable, feeling that they are less of a human being. And so we would do anything in our lives, but we will not do the things that give us that feeling. Now, when we've assigned our self-worth to the results that we get in our lives, the problem that happens is fear of failure becomes a core part of the way we act. Now think about it. There's a gateway to success that's open for you. There's a new opportunity that's come your way. But rather than being excited about it, you're scared, you're apprehensive, you're worried, you're confused. Not because it's an opportunity you're not sure of, but because it's an opportunity where the chances of failure are a bit too high. And what does failure mean? Not achieving. And what does not achieving the result mean? I'm not capable enough as a human being. I'm not worthy enough as a human being. And that's a feeling we do not want at all. So to run away from that pain of feeling unworthy, we become afraid of failure. Not because failure is a bad thing in the first place, but because we have a wrong association with that failure. Every time we fail, we've only reinforced the idea, oh, that means I'm incapable. That means I'm not doing enough. That means I'm not succeeding enough. And that means I'm not worthy enough as a human being, or I'm not lovable enough, or whatever these ideas are. But the core fear there is, I don't want the feeling that I am not enough. So we would rather postpone, we would rather procrastinate, we would rather be lazy, and we would rather let go of the opportunity and say, oh, well, I was just unlucky, things couldn't work out the way I wanted. But there, the failure isn't coming from your incapability of getting the result, it's coming from an external cause, and subconsciously, your mind is okay with it. In your mind, the image is, as long as I'm not looked at as incapable, as long as I'm not looked at as unworthy, I'm happy with a mediocre life as well. And that's where your choices are coming from, where rather than prioritizing growth, you end up doing lazy things, you end up procrastinating, and you end up going back into your comfort zone, which you later regret, but somehow you can't break free of it. Well, ask yourself this question. Is the comfort zone helping me avoid the fear of failure? Is the comfort zone helping me stay away from those feelings of being unworthy and not loved and not cared for, and everything I've learned to avoid since I was a little kid? And you will realize 90% of the time that's the case. That's the only reason you're afraid of failure. Because think about it now. What if I set this condition for you, okay? I want you to imagine this. Even if you fail in pursuit of your goal, even if you don't make it to the finish line, even if you do not succeed, even if things don't work out the way you want, you are going to get an award that is recognized by every single person in the world, which says you are successful. Why? Because you tried. And it's not just an award for the sake of it, like a participation award. It's a real award with real credibility. Now, how bad is the failure sounding? Now, how scared are you really of that failure that could come up for you, that challenge that could come up for you, that big resistance that you're worried about right now, which does not even exist yet? Well, now all of a sudden, just because you know there's a guaranteed reward at the end of it, regardless of the outcome, you're detached. You're no longer scared of the failure. You're no longer afraid, what if I don't reach the finish line? Because now suddenly your worthiness is no longer attached to the finish line. Now the world will not give you an award like this. Let's be realistic here. That just doesn't happen. But who says you can't? Who says you cannot untangle this whole wrong self-worth equation and rewire your fear of failure by attaching your self-worth not to the result you get, but to the process? Now I'll give you a simple example here. A writer who's worried about how will readers judge his article will never be able to get over his writer's block and write very well. But a writer who's only focused on producing the best piece that he can produce, regardless of what the readers think, well, that writer is really able to get his creative juices flowing and sometimes end up writing things that even he is surprised by. I've had that experience so many times in my life as a writer. In fact, if you're an engineer And if you're someone who's building their own startup, this perfectionism and this fear of failure could be the biggest reason your business goes down and it fails. Because you are too scared of launching an imperfect product. You are too scared of shipping something with glitches. So you would rather spend years and years in building, in trying, in testing, rather than just going out there and seeing if your product stands the test of the market or not. But if your worthiness and your capability as a founder, as an engineer, is not attached to how people perceive your product, but to how well you do your job every single day, well, then here's the magic that happens. Your work ethic goes to the next level. Your ability to perform goes to the next level. Your ability to show up as the right person goes to the next level. And as a result of that, success is naturally yours. So I want you to reflect on this powerful idea that we've uncovered here and figure out all the areas in your life where this messed up self-worth equation is creating your fear of failure, because I'm sure this is the reason it is happening for you, and rewire it, change it, detach from the outcome, focus on the process, align your self-worth to the process, and see the magic happen. See how quickly you take action. See how quickly your procrastination disappears, your laziness disappears, and you become the person even you are inspired by. All of that's possible. The question is, are you willing to let go of the fear today and feel worthy and confident and capable as you are right now? Because I know you are. I am. Every single one of us is, and that power exists within us. So comment below and make this declaration: I am worthy as I am, and declare that one goal as well that you want to pursue. I'd be happy to hear, and I'd be happy to inspire you on that journey. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll see you once again next week with another video to help you unlock your next breakthrough. See you soon. Bye.